I'm beginning to run out of superlatives to describe how great the work of Roman Reigns is in this new heel run with Paul Heyman. I'm running out of words because everything he's doing is must-see TV. It's been that way for now the 2 months since he's been back. This segment tonight, the Tribal Consequences segment to close the show, no exception. This segment, really damn good stuff. Like, this whole Roman Reigns Jey Uso storyline, like I've said it before, I'll say it again, they've taken Jey Uso, a random tag guy who you wouldn't have thought twice about as being a main eventer, and they made him feel legitimate, important, interesting. Tonight, what they did, they had Roman Reigns come out with the Universal title with Paul Heyman, another one of these Roman Reigns entrances, which is really cool now. He comes into the ring, grabs a microphone, then we see one of the Usos behind a table, because they have the whole food on the table thing in the storyline, which I really like that kind of touch, talking about being ahead of the table and whatnot. Then, this Uso reveals that that's Jimmy Uso, and that Jey Uso, Reigns' opponent on Sunday, is right behind him. So Jey Uso jumps Roman Reigns, beats him up, and pummels him for a little bit, hits him with a chair, hits him with a frog splash. That was really good. Jey Uso then escapes up the ramp, which this stuff makes sense. It's stuff you would do. Roman Reigns is a menacing, dastardly heel, some really tough heel. You're not going to face him straight up. You're going to attack him from behind if you're a babyface to try and get anything you can over him. So Jey Uso scampers away up the ramp. Then Roman Reigns sounds irate, grabs the microphone, this super deep tone, cuts his promo about how there are going to be grave consequences for Jey Uso, that he's going to be essentially disowned from the family, and that after he says I quit on Sunday, Jey Uso, this is that he's going to have no place in the Samoan bloodline anymore. And awesome Reigns promo. Roman Reigns, everything he says has your attention because of how much weight it has. So he says that. Then Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso, they're on the ramp. Jey Uso, rushes down the ramp. The Hell in a Cell by this point is lowered down. So the blood red Hell in a Cell is lowered down. Jey Uso scales up halfway up the cell, which, halfway up the cell now is about where the roof was 20 years ago. But anyway, Jey Uso scales up halfway to the top, and he's standing on the outside of the cell, standing there yelling at Reigns as they close the show with Michael Cole and Corey Graves screaming. So really good end to Smackdown. These two guys, Reigns, Uso, and I'd include Jimmy Uso and Paul Heyman, and even commentary, Cole and Corey Graves with this kind of stuff. It's really good. The Tribal Consequences segment, another really good Roman Reigns, Jey Uso segment. I can't wait for their match on Sunday. That's going to be such a good match. The I Quit Hell in a Cell match, that's going to be fantastic. So that was all good. And really, that's the main thing I feel like talking about, because to me, SmackDown is the Roman Reigns show. So I'm going to spend probably half the review talking about whatever Roman Reigns is involved in. So that was really good. And then the rest of the show was what it was. If you didn't see the rest of the show, you didn't miss a whole hell of a lot. Murphy versus Seth Rollins, Law and Otis. Jesus Lord. And then they opened the show with the KO show with Daniel Bryan. And then we had a Bianca Belair match. Lars Sullivan was in action. And Sasha Banks and Bayley had a segment. So I'm going to try and go through these things in some kind of order. So to open the show, we had the KO show with Daniel Bryan. So Kevin Owens came out, introduced Daniel Bryan. Then they're talking back and forth about potential matchups. Daniel Bryan is playing his smart character of talking about how much great talent's on the roster and how everyone, deserves an opportunity. Then Kevin Owens proposes the idea of being a tag team. And then Daniel Bryan's like, oh, you turn on all your tag team partners, Kevin. So that was the big burn on SmackDown tonight. So that was that. And then this turns into this big 8-man tag team match. You've got Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura out there. You've got Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler, so that's the heel team. And then you've got the babyfaces, which is the Street Profits, the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, teaming with Daniel Bryan and Kevin Owens. So they do a big 8-man tag match. They do the KO show, the Brawl, the big 8-man tag. Easy way to kill 30 minutes, am I right? That's really all this was. An easy way, a glorified way to kill 30 minutes. Throw all the tag teams you have on the show out there. Don't really tell a story, just throw them out there and have them have a match. So that was fine. Some good high spots, I guess. If you guys are into matches, I'm sure you enjoyed this. I didn't really watch it. So, yeah, that was that. Then we had a Bianca Belair match. She beat Zelina Vega. Nothing really to comment here. Zelina Vega had a match with Asuka a few weeks ago. So that was sorted. Now she's going to be probably an enhancement talent for the women's division on SmackDown. Oh, cool. Bianca Belair gets a win. Establish her some momentum. all cool. And then Lars Sullivan beat Chad Gable, who cares? Then we did the Sasha Banks and Bayley segment. This thing, it was alright, you know. Sasha Banks, Bayley came out first, saying that, she didn't sign the contract for a reason, and she basically cuts the same type of promos as she did last week, talking about how Sasha Banks is ungrateful, how she used Sasha Banks, how Sasha Banks isn't championship material, how this is Bayley's championship, Bayley's division. Bayley runs this SmackDown women's division, the women's division in general. Sasha Banks comes out, beats up Bayley, gets Bayley to sign the contract. We all knew Bayley would sign the contract, okay? They weren't just going to have Bayley not sign the contract. It didn't take Albert Einstein to figure out that Bayley was going to sign this damn contract. So, that's what they did there. That was the SmackDown Women's title segment. Bayley and Sasha Banks is still set for Sunday. It was never off, so that match should be good. I'm not expecting that to be incredible. I mean, it depends. The match could be as good as Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks last year. It could be alright. I mean, we'll wait and see. It should be good. I don't think it's going to be better than Mankind versus The Undertaker or anything, but it should be a decent match. So that was that. Then this thing, Murphy versus Seth Rollins. Okay, so I like that they're doing Murphy and Seth Rollins here. Could it have been done at Hell in a Cell? Yes, but oh well, it's just the same thing we see every week. Like, there's not even much to talk about. Murphy, Seth Rollins, they punch each other for a little bit. They do the storytelling where Seth Rollins is like, I'm the Messiah, you're the disciple, yada, yada, yada. Murphy doesn't want to get punched by Rollins. Then we have Aaliyah Mysterio sitting backstage looking all depressed about the fact that Rollins is beating up Murphy. Aaliyah rushes out, Dominic rushes out, Rollins beats up Dominic, Rey Mysterio comes out, then that scares off Seth Rollins. Aaliyah's there with Buddy Murphy. Same thing as we see every week. Like, I would lie to you and say that there's progression in this storyline, but there really isn't. It's just the same thing week in, week out. So we've seen that since May, no one cares. And then lastly, this whole thing, Law and Otis, I get this is catered to 4-year-olds, but look at your demographics. 4-year-olds aren't watching anymore. This show, like this whole Law and Otis thing, I like the fact that JBL was there. Like, you guys who know my obsession with JBL, I find JBL hilarious. I love it, Mac. I love it, Mac. Cool. Like, JBL's just funny. So that was good. Ron Simmons was there. You had Otis there, dressed in some suit that he bought from a dollar shop. You had Tucker there. Miz and Morrison were pressing their cases. You had a bunch of defendants and prosecutors, and they tried to make this this real Law and Order, Judge Judy type thing with JBL. I found some bits funny. JBL, everything he was involved in, I found funny. Hearing the Miz and Morrison try and prosecute Otis and say that Otis is in the wrong and that Otis is trying to defend himself, whatever, I don't really care. So, overall, SmackDown was a fine go-home show. The main thing you need to know about, Tribal Consequences with Roman Reigns, really good segment. Murphy and Seth Rollins was the same thing as you see every week with those guys, and then the rest of the show, really nothing much to comment. Kevin Owens and Daniel Bryan being a tag team, probably going to interest some of you. To me, it's a tag team in WWE main roster, or just WWE in general. I don't really care. So, that's been the video. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. If you should like, comment, sub. You guys know the drill. See ya.